So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my dear friends. It's a warm welcome to all of you, especially Christiane and few of her friends who are helping her today. Though she doesn't need any special introduction, we all know her very well. She's a super talented designer from Singapore. And so today it's a great pleasure that she's taken us time for all of us to do lovely designs and making our afternoon very, very special. I will request everybody to please mute themselves so that there is no distractions for her to conduct her designs. And any questions which needs to be addressed will be put up in the chat box. It will be taken up by Kavita Aunty or by me later during or after the session. Though she doesn't need any introduction, but I will still request Kavita Aunty to say a few words for her. Over to you, Kavita Aunty.
Thanks, Pooja, and a very warm welcome to all my friends and well-wishers and members from Singapore who have joined us today. And Christiane, our friendship goes back years and years, where we accidentally met as co-competitors at the Chelsea Flower Show. And so, you never know where and when you'll meet a friend or make a friend. And then it grew, and gradually we kept on communicating and meeting each other. And then, of course, she came here to teach us so many things. And we went there. And then she came here to do her judge's final exam, which was a very, very big thing. So life has been a good journey for all of us together. And as they celebrate their 50th year, the Singapore Club, so this is a part of our friendship. It will be a two-way thing. Just now, Christiane is demonstrating for us. And God willing, in the month of July or August, we'll be doing a show for them. We were planning to do it earlier, but because of all the restrictions, we had no plant material. So I think within a month or two, things will ease out and we will have another program with the Singapore Club. So over to you, Christiane, and we're looking forward to all that you're going to share with us.
Thank you, Kavita Aunty. Christiane ma'am, I'm just going to mute everyone and then I'll request you to unmute yourself.
Unmute that. Everybody, and it's such a pleasure to be here with you, even if we are probably thousands of miles away from each other. It's actually, the whole idea came up that you were doing a demonstration for the Singapore Flower Club. And we would be here sitting down, all relaxed, watching you. But of course, when Kavita phoned me a few weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, to say that you are in a new lockdown, and would it be possible, well, as an afterthought, she said, would it be possible that I would do something for you instead? How could I possibly refuse Kavita? Nobody can refuse Kavita. But I'm trembling because all of you are so far progressed. I can't believe it's only 8 years ago since I first came to you to Kolkata. And at that time, many of you were beginners and some of you haven't even started. And in the meantime, you have progressed so much. You have got national judges, national demonstrators, national speakers, and you have got 2 Best in Show winners of the Wafa show. So what can I do to teach you? But hopefully, having fun with flowers, you might walk away with something that you have learned. And I'm certainly trying hard to connect with you and bring some joy for you this afternoon. Now, soon after I agreed to do this demonstration, we also went into partial lockdown. And that made me think, what would I do if we couldn't get any flowers? So I started thinking, and I thought, yes, let's do this demonstration as something that you probably all have in your home as well. And also do the connection between what I have in my home and that came from you. So my first design is this ring. And I am very much, you probably remember that, I'm very much into recycling. And I had, a lot of people talk about floral foam and how we shouldn't use it. Of course, floral foam has improved so much now that it is partly biodegradable. But there's also the plastic covers that come with a lot of floral foam. And these rings have the floral foam in, and we all love them, especially when it comes to Christmas and Advent and so on. Now, don't throw it away. I think plastic is only really bad if you use it only once and then you throw it. So these things are usable again and again and again. So what I do when I'm finished with a design and the foam is finished as well, I dig it up and then I put new pieces in for the next lot. Now this ring, I actually used it first with fresh flowers about 6 times. And every, after a week, the flowers would grow, the foliage would grow. I would take everything out and just put new ones in. And I make sure that I keep the foam wet, because once the foam dries out, it will not reabsorb water properly again. And I also put a few drops of disinfectant in the water when I first make it wet, so that there is no cross-contamination between bacteria from one lot to the next. But after using it for about 6 times, it started to crumble, and I thought, what am I going to use with it now? So I had it actually in the sun outside and let it dry out, and cut some of the really used up things and started thinking about this design. You will see that there are holes. Can I get that a little bit closer? I put plastic tubes in it, because these plastic tubes, they come usually with orchids, and most people just throw them away. I keep them and I reuse them. So I fill them with water, and you can then do fresh flowers again. But first I started to think, what do I actually do? And what comes to mind? I have a big bag full of these lovely balls. You can see what they are, because most of you will probably have been involved creating them. They come from Calcutta, and they were used at the Singapore Flower Show in 2018, when Preeti was helping Brimsel from the Czech Republic with the Windows to the World. So at the end of it, she left me a bag of different size balls. I realized after using them, touching them, that there is a hole inside, and I put wire through it, and I put the first row and stuck them into the foam, and then I used the Oasis glue, and I glued all the rest to it. So it's in itself, it's a lovely texture, and you could even use it afterwards, taking the tubes out when the fresh flowers are over, and put some more balls there and just use it on its own and hang it on the wall. Or you could insert some dried material. I am using some gerbera today. I cut some early on because, as you know, you always have to try what goes. It's an unusual greeny, bluey, turquoisey color, so it needs to have an equally strong color to go with it, and it needs a contrast in shape as well. So I thought this the gerbera fit that criteria, because they give a nice bold statement with it. And I always find that gerberas actually last a lot better if they are cut short. They don't like to be out of water for long, and when they are tall, they have a lovely line, but they don't really, they tend to fall over, bend over, whereas when they are short, they last a long time. And then I have this beautiful Bavaria, which is in the same color family. And it's a different texture to go in between. With Bavaria, it's always best to take all the leaves off because they don't last very well. It has got some lovely new growth as well. It's not often that we get Bavaria here. Do you manage to get it in India? I mean, usually you get everything that we can get here and a lot more. I have also inserted just a few dried flowers, just to add another texture and another contrast. And the young Bavaria won't last very long, but it's nice when it's fresh to go in with it. It's one of the most difficult things for beginners to cut flowers short. But sometimes you just have to do it. When people use foam and they have it's too long, they just keep pushing it in, and of course that doesn't do anything. So it's always much better to cut it shorter. And I just put in a little bit more at the back so that the end of the tubes are not seen. Bavaria also have quite a nice scent to it. So this is my first design, connecting me with Kolkata and all of you, having worked so hard for me to produce this. And like with every design, it takes a lot of work to start off with making it. It does you can use it again and again, and in the long term you have saved a lot of time. But I just see I missed one here.
Thank you so much, Christiane. It's looking so pretty, and a lot of questions are coming up about this for people who are out of Calcutta. These are small plastic balls that you get in the market, which the children use for koi bags, and they're the very cheap ones, not the ping pong balls, but you get them in many sizes, and the smaller sizes are beads. And so we've just taken jute and dyed jute, and you know how we make laddus with the hand, going round and round. So we've just done that, put adhesive, and we actually made, I don't know how many thousands for Primsil. All of us did it like a big project. And this is bringing back very, very fond memories of the lovely trip and of how well Christiane looked after us. So Christiane, thank you for this beautiful connection. And requests are coming to increase the volume if possible from your end.
So the volume from both the ends are full. I guess please check, everybody, please check from your computer also if it's in full volume or not.
Mine is fine, Pooja, but some people have requested. Yeah,
I read the message, Auntie. Maybe from their personal computers.
Sure. Yeah.
Christiane ma'am, I think your volume is full.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Yeah. So Christiane ma'am, volume is full from her laptop. So is mine, whose absence I'm controlling it. So my volume is also full. It's 100%. So everyone, whoever cannot hear, please check your volume in your computer. If you're using a laptop or an iPhone, yes, your volume might go down.
Wow. Christiane, this is looking so beautiful.
Well, my next design is thinking about, you know, we have things in the household that you can use. And this is this is one of, sorry, this is one of those grids. I mean, those of you who have been to Singapore, you know about Daiso, which is a Japanese chain store, the $2 shop. And it's probably the most used place for floral designers to buy things, because you can do so much with things that is actually meant for the household. So as far as this is concerned, you just need to snip off where you want to bend it. You need to snip off the plastic coating, and then you put it at the edge of a worktop and press it down. And couldn't see that. And that's how you create this triangular. And I just turn it.
Yeah, that's an excellent tip. I'm sure we get all these here also, and you've taught us such an easy way to bend it.
Yeah. I learned that with Donate at one of the Ikebana workshops, which was organized by Angela. But I went a little bit further, because he just used it in the natural way. Whereas you know how I like working with fresh coconut leaves. So I used the fresh coconut leaves and went in between. And you remember Andy yesterday from Indonesia? The first time I saw that sort of technique was about 10, 12 years ago, when he did something in Hong Kong. And that's how, you know, if you go to different events, you always pick up new ideas, and something stick and you use it again. Unfortunately, we don't manage to get fresh young coconut leaves these days.
Okay. We get lots of it here we just have to go to the fields and we can just pick it up.
Yeah, I know you, that's exactly why I'm doing this, because I know you can get it.
Yeah.
We used to be able to get it in the flower market, but apparently they lost their supplier. I managed to get these because of Hari Raya, which is a Muslim festival.
Yeah, Hari Raya.
And I went to one of their markets, and they had it there. I'm recycling water tubes as well, and I'm recycling the Oasis flat
wire,
aluminium wire.
Yeah.
I should take it off here. If you flat wire. When I use water tube, I find using that is very easy. You just, this is not right. I got it. I'm always over prepared, and then I can't find what I'm using. So I'm just using the flat wire and turn it around, and as I go through the hole where I want it situated, with the last bit, I make sure there is something underneath, so that it shouldn't fall down.
Christiane, just one question, that instead of coconut leaves, is it okay if we use strands of the areca palm leaves or something?
Well, I'm not sure whether they would be long enough, but the best thing is that you try.
Yeah.
You only find out whether something works if you try.
Yeah, because you know areca palms are easy to come by, so maybe you can change it around, and it's just a thought that areca palm is available everywhere, so you can maybe try it out.
Yeah, but the other thing that you can use, you have stripped tufa grass.
Yeah.
You could do it with that.
Okay.
I mean, it makes a slightly different texture, but that's also possible. And now, when I use the water tubes at the water, I always put some Crisal or one of those sachets in, because I have found if you use them according to the instructions on the sachet, it really works, and your flowers do last longer, because Calcutta does even get hotter than Singapore. And water can get contaminated very quickly, so you have to make sure that your plant material, the bacteria doesn't increase too quickly. So I've added these anthurium leaves. They call them turtleback leaves here because they create a nice form as a contrast to the frilly parts. And then I'm going to add some of the orchids into the tubes. And here, the beauty with contemporary design is, in my view, that anything goes.
And besides that, Christiane, I like the way you've camouflaged the tubes from before, so that you can't make out where they are or how they are. It's so interesting how you've done it, and the use of the flat wire. That's something very interesting also.
Yeah, and I'm sure in India you do have these grids.
Yes. I'm sure we can. And nowadays everybody has become experts in online shopping. So one of us will find it and share the link with everybody else. I'm quite sure.
So I'm also using the Hurricane Safari sunset really, because it does go very well with the color, and it shows up the beautifully dried leaves of the coconut. Once you strip the coconut of its central the spine, it dries very quickly. I also have here Singapore is known for its orchids. This one is actually named after Singaporean. It's a Renanthera orchid, Singaporean. It's a beautiful one. I mean, there are lots of Renantheras around. This one is named after Singaporeans.
It's beautiful. The color is so different. I mean, it's neither a maroon nor is it a rust. It's a kind of a brick red, I would say, kind of a thing.
A lovely red.
Yeah, but it's not like that post office red which hits you in the face. And it's going very well with your other plant material, Christiane.
Well, hopefully I have put it together with that in mind.
Yeah.
So you could add a lot more tubes to it, depending on what you want to do. But like with a lot of structures, if you spend a lot of time making them, why cover them up?
I agree. You need to show off what you've done also.
So here I just leave it at that because I want to show you the coconut weaving, and also by doing the glass tubes with some lovely material like the Oasis tube, the Oasis flat aluminium wire. It doesn't matter if they show. In fact, you want them to show because they look good. Okay.
It's looking so lovely, and yet it's got that the simplicity and plus the smartness. It's a beautiful combination, and the contrast of textures and the contrast of shapes, Christiane, is so very, very interesting and creating that little magic.
And also, once you have the structure, because you can take the glass tubes out easily, you can wash them, you can use them again and again, and with different materials.
Yes.
And I know when the fresh material die, I will use your wonderful shoulder material. I have got quite a few of them here.
Yes, interesting.
And they also, I mean, I should have wired some. I could just add them to the frame without having to put them into anything. And it just makes a lovely background, which you can create with your coconut and your shola flowers. And
how nice is that?
You can have them for some time, and you occasionally change them around. And you could even easily combine them with fresh material as well.
That's such a lovely idea, Christiane. So good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I like the way you're connecting. You are connecting us to each and every little aspect of yours. Thank you.
Well, I'm trying to think of things that you can easily do at home while you are locked away, because you can.
So Christiane ma'am's motto was to connect in Calcutta with her designs.
Yeah, I think she's doing it very well.
Superb. She's left us spellbound, absolutely.
Totally.
So the next thing also in a different way connects me with Calcutta, because I've seen beautiful paper that you made, beautiful handmade paper, and that made me think of this design. We recently had another Sogetsu workshop in Singapore using paper, and of course using paper is quite fashionable within Wafa and Nafas these days as well. So you have got this beautiful handmade paper in India, and that is useful for something of this nature, making a fan. Can you see it?
Yes, yes, the color is so good also. It's that midnight blue.
So all you need to do is to have a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And with a slight angle, you start folding it. And when you have it all, I mean, this was obviously prepared. When you have it all done, just press it very hard, and then take a wire and go around it, and play around with it to see where you want it. When you have it in place, you go and wire it, and that end piece then also gives you the stem that you can put into your container. This glossy paper, and it's a little bit too soft to stay strong, but I know your paper in India is quite strong, where you can easily do that. And then
in the soft paper, we had learned at a workshop that in the angles, you can put fine sticks like broomsticks or something, so that stays stiff.
Yeah.
Because we made these fans out of fabric also for one of the programs, and that's just an option that you starch the fabric and make it into a fan, but because you don't want it to go sloppy, you put sticks in the between.
Well, there are lots of different things you can do. It's just having the first idea and then working with it.
Absolutely.
Something else. So you need a glass or a vase that has got a relatively narrow neck, like this one has, but it has to be big enough to put other things in as well. And here I've wired out a Stockholm fern so that it's coming forward. But first I'm going to put in this. To me, it's almost a little bit like a butterfly. And there is your fern coming forward.
Beautiful.
And you know, I'm occasionally working. Where has my banana gone? You see what a state I am in? You know that I used to work with the gardeners, and I have got some ornamental banana trees outside my kitchen window. And at the moment, they are actually sprouting and putting lovely flowers up.
Beautiful.
Of this, it needs a really flashy plant material to help with the fan. So I thought I cut this banana off yesterday, and I put it in a glass tube. So I need to have space in my container as well to add that.
That's looking so pretty, Christiane, and the way the little small bananas are peeping out. It's just perfect.
I love being out watching. Occasionally, I look out of my kitchen window as I prepare food, and I see the tiny little birds flying in and picking at the. So, can you see this?
Yes, perfect. It's looking so beautiful.
So I should have something coming down to disguise the harshness of the black container.
Oh, wow.
You know what this is?
Yes, yes, of course.
So I actually,
Pretty.
how can I get it into, yeah. So instead of just having a straight garland down, I very carefully use wire through the individual sections to make it a little bit more. And I should probably have added that before. So this can be in and come down. You know, it doesn't matter how much you prepare, you always come unstuck with something, don't you? So there you are, another little bit of Calcutta in my home.
Wow.
Making me think of you.
Christiane, this is so different and so interesting. I mean, and who could think of adding this simple Shola Mala as an accessory in this very structured design? And the colors, oh wow, very, very bold and yet very well blended together. Thank you.
It's a kind of design again. You might not, excuse me, you might not have very much time to prepare for a special occasion, and that doesn't really take very long at all to put something up that's a little bit different, and that's a talking point when your guests arrive.
Absolutely.
So,
and when they come to a place like yours, they will always expect something different. They don't want to see just plain flowers plonked in a glass vase, isn't it?
With just one banana pod, I think it's become wonder to do a design.
Totally, totally.
And the color of that banana pod was superb. It's like a pink color with a, navy blue color of the paper. It's too good.
The Shola Mala, which we would have never thought of using like this as an accessory, is adding that perfect finishing touch. Oh, Christiane, this is already looking beautiful.
Well, as I mentioned the gardeners earlier on, I was responsible for, excuse me, I'm not used to talking so much. I was responsible for the garden. And for 11 years, I was heading the landscape committee of Camelot. When we first moved here, we soon afterwards had painting done, and the painters ruined the whole landscape that was done by the original garden company. And Philip, bless his heart, said, "You can do something." And I ended up helping with reintroducing different plants and redesigning the garden. And guess what? I do introduce plants that are useful for flower arranging. So,
for people who don't know what Camelot is, let me just tell you, Camelot is the place where Christiane lives. It's like a small housing colony, and it's located on the banks of a river. And it's got a garden in the middle, and each person has got a little green patch. And Christiane's green patch is so interesting. It's got everything that you can think of, and she's got plants near her entrance, and when you overlook the sitting area and the dining area. So it's just what I want to share is that even a small patch can be made to have all that you need as a flower arranger. That's exactly what Christiane has done.
Yes, people like her, if you have flowering plants, they last for a little while and then the flowers disappear and there's not much there. So I decided to introduce a lot of color plants. So here, for example, I have got this lovely Dracaena. So this is going to be one of my hide plants. I decided to do all plant material design because I know that many of you have beautiful gowns and having similar sort of plant material as we have got in Singapore.
Yeah.
Now, I'm using 2 blocks of foam, which, as I mentioned earlier on, these days we try to get away from it, but sometimes you need to have the foam. You could easily do that. If you have a big trough, you could easily do this design with chicken wire in the trough. But I couldn't find the right sort of chicken wire here. So I'm using a very simple tray and I put cordyline leaves around the foam to disguise the foam. You can see it on this side better.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need a tray. You could have cellophane or cling film and put the oasis foam in that. And then you could pin leaves on it. So I've used some cordyline here and a different variety here, a slightly different height. And I'm using, when you do a whole leaf design, you have to make sure that you have got your elements and principles of design in mind. And of course, Swati did such a beautiful talk the other week, reminding us on what they are, and in this case, how you use them. So I'm trying to use frilly material next to smooth material so that you set them off one against the other. Because if you use only frilly material, like for example, this Pilosforum and the Polysias, they go into each other, they don't show up. Whereas if you use one against flat materials, form materials, smooth material, they will show up. Can I ask them to use it? You can show it better. So textural and color contrasts are very important when it comes to doing all leaf designs. And of course, we are so blessed with having lovely leaves in Singapore and lovely. I mean, a lot of what grows rampant here would be just a little house plant in UK. So this is a Aglaomania, and I never remember how to pronounce them properly. And another different Dracaena, I'm sorry, cordyline. And here I have got the light color of Song of India, which of course is so important. And it's a lovely plant material that grows here, which lasts very well.
Is it called Song of India there also?
Yeah, we have got that. And you might remember I used it when I came.
Yes, I remember. But is it called Song of India in Singapore also?
Dracaena, Song of India.
Okay.
Very important. And of course for me, I remember it because of that. It really lasts. And as you know, when I did the workshop, I used
Yes,
it.
I remember very well.
We
can't forget that workshop, Christiane, ever.
For disguising the bottles, or decorating the bottles.
Yeah.
It's a workshop which we did with a bottle with Song of India.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, you wanted to say?
She said we did it with the bottles, the recycling of the bottles, the workshop. Yeah.
So I think that Christiane ma'am, that design of yours, each one of us done it. I think nobody is there who's not done that design. And everybody has appreciated to the core.
Thank you. Well, I remember that night very well, because if you remember, I had a little bit of a problem. I had food poisoning. And it was.
So now we relate Song of India with that design of yours.
It was my own fault, I think, but it didn't matter. I really enjoyed my time so much there, and I had a wonderful time. But I do remember that day particularly well because of that. So this is another variegated plant material.
It's a kind of a croton.
Croton family.
Yeah.
So you can see there are lots of colors there, as well as different textures.
Beautiful mix, Christiane. So beautiful.
And where is my other banana? And this is the first time that there are actually proper bananas on this, but I was told it's only ornamental, you can't eat them. So I wasn't too upset when I took it off, because it probably, well, if the gardeners hadn't been too busy with other things, they probably would have cut it off already anyway.
Mm.
So I'm just trying. Banana stems are quite fibrous, and they do easily cut off in the wrong place. So I'm putting this in.
Oh wow!
You had your little flower up there, but that has gone some time ago. And then I've been given.
Yeah, I know these are beautiful.
I was given these little succulents some time ago, and I don't know what the name for this particular one is, but it does grow like mad. And if you look at the one Angela is showing you, it has got little things on the outside, and that's the little seeds. And as the plant grows bigger, the seeds grow into small little flowers.
Yeah.
And eventually they will spring off, and you could the whole floor with those succulents. They're laughing at me, and I don't know why. So I'm putting them in here. I'm trying to do it on both sides, but I must also leave a little bit of a space for my little.
Oh, so cute.
Another little thing from Kolkata. Some more chewed, different types of chewed from Preeti to make my bird nest, and my two little lovebirds.
So cute.
So
and the colors are picking up so well. I mean, the colors from the cordyline and from the Dracaena and even from your other plant material, it's blended so well. So and yet you don't miss the color of flowers. I mean, the way you've used the tints of yellow and the little rust and the various kinds of greens, it's really done a perfect job, Christiane.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it's looking as if it's just, you've picked out a chunk from your garden with the landscape and just kept it on your desk. It's just giving that feel.
I thought, initially I had in mind to do a triangular kind of a round one, but then I thought this way it actually shows up the individual plants much better.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you're giving everybody the choice of using whatever they have or whatever they can lay their hands on. You're not being so particular that, okay, you need this or this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, that's the idea that that you have got such lovely materials and you can just use it. And if you don't have a brown yourself, I'm sure all your friends who have will be very willing to help with the.
Oh yes, we all can walk into each other's homes without thinking.
Yeah. So whenever you know the gardeners are going to prune, even if you don't prune yourself, and ask.
Totally, totally.
So this is really all leaves, but it's nevertheless quite colorful.
Yes. And I like the way, you are putting this dark foliage inside so that the light color is coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
It's kind of bringing up the light color. The dark color is there to give it that little depth also. It's adding a lot of depth to your design, the dark color which you've just introduced.
well, and that, I mean that's the idea of the contrast that
Yeah.
one side of the other. So on the outside, it's a plant that's relatively new in Singapore, and it's called African jasmine,
Oh, wow.
and it's another that really lasts very well, a variegated one. And when I was in charge, I used to buy perhaps 3-4 plants, and then we would propagate them ourselves. And 3 years ago, when we had a painting done, we actually cut most of the shrubs that were in the way of the painter. And Simin, he's also watching it from Pakistan, helped with propagating. And so a lot of the plants that are used here, as well as outside, are what I consider my babies.
Oh, wow. That's so sweet.
This is my Singapore garden.
Oh, that's so lovely. So lush and green and fresh.
In Kolkata.
So it's a
Thank you.
perfect picturesque design of yours. And the way Auntie explained your house, I think we can all visualize with a small design of yours.
Christiane, we would request you to take individual pictures of each design and then post it, send it to us, please.
Yes, sure.
After you've done everything, just put it against a plain backdrop, each one separately, and do share the pictures. Yeah.
Along with yourself, ma'am.
I,
And your helpers too.
the lighting here is not particularly good, but I forgot the butterflies.
Oh, so cute.
That gives us a slogan that we should have room for the butterflies in our designs.
These are all put up by Nafas.
That's very much a thing of Nafas.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that I learned when I was
Yeah. That's one of the first things they teach you.
So I actually included them.
Also, they're adding that little life to it suddenly, as if the whole thing has come alive with the lovely butterflies flitting around.
Yeah. So you don't need to have flowers.
No.
In order to do something, you can do something quite colorful with all the leaves that you have got in your garden.
Thank you.
Beautiful design, ma'am.
Beautiful, beautiful, Christiane.
After seeing the design, I think we all will do designs without the flowers.
Absolutely, Pooja. No excuse for anybody to say that, oh, I don't have flowers.
Yeah. And best is the Christiane ma'am has asked us to do with the plant materials, all which we can collect and procure from our friends and our own garden.
Absolutely.
Of course, when you have cut-offs like this, just stick them in the soil and 50% of the time they will grow. And then
Oh.
on. So don't throw anything away. There's always something that you can do with it. It just takes time and it takes a little bit of thinking. So my next design is very much with you in mind.
Oh, wow.
And it's again recycling. The saying is that somebody's rubbish is somebody else's treasure. Isn't that the case in my country?
It is.
My mother-in-law was a flower painter, and I used to think when I first met her and being in her home, why is she keeping all that rubbish? And of course, once you start arranging flowers, you keep.
I know.
Because it could become useful one of these days. So the other day I went to our recycling area in the car park, and there was a abundant clock, wall clock.
Oh, wow.
If I turn it round, you can see more. This took rather a little bit of time, and I didn't know quite how much time I would have, and I didn't want you to fall asleep by me putting all these things on. But you can see at the back, this is where the mechanisms were in. And it had two black rings, and the Roman numerals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought when I saw it, that could become useful one of these days. I didn't quite know how quickly it would become useful, because I suddenly thought, yes, if I put my things partly about what you have in the house and partly on what you have collected, you could use something like this. So what I did is, again, my coconut leaf, going all the way around both rims to make them softer. And then I thought first I'm going to do a sunflower clock. But then I thought there might not be any sunflowers. I might not be able to go to the market, and you might not have any sunflowers either. So I thought, yeah, we'll do something that is partly dry, partly fresh. So in the center, I have put a wet piece of floral foam, and on the individual ones, you can see it down here. I just cut up some parcels of dry foam, and I disguised them with some more of the jute. I put them on. I could have glued them onto the Roman numerals, but I thought once you glue something on, it's more permanent. If I want to change it, I can easily take it off if I add it with the cable ties. So that's what I have done.
Clever idea.
But of course, I can't just leave it like that. And initially, I was thinking of various dried flowers that I had in the home. But then I came across another bag with treasures, and you recognize that.
Wow. Again, you've got these lovely Shola flowers, Christiane. The Shola flowers have become upgraded all of a sudden.
Well, I had some even before I was in Calcutta, but I always thought anything that was made with Shola was actually made of plastic. It wasn't until I came to Calcutta to find out it's not.
That you realize that it's a reed.
But they are, if I just use them by themselves, would be a little bit too small to make an impact. So I needed to think a little bit more. And then I thought, oh, I've had this it's sisal matting in the house for a long, long time.
Oh, wow.
So I made myself a little template.
So these are the jute fibers.
No, this is sisal.
No, it was sisal. Hang on a minute.
Sisal paper is a little different than jute, Pooja.
Okay.
You get the sisal paper very easily.
Yeah.
I cut those things out. And it wasn't actually until a couple of days ago, I thought, when I was trying to play around it again, I thought I could have made them with jute. So this is just a very quick prototype. But by that time, it was too late to do it with jute because it does take some time to do it.
Yeah,
so you do it and do white glue and drench it with that and shape it and do it with that. But it was too late for that. So I'm using my sisal, and I put toothpicks at the end, and I put it through the sisal. And then I just stuck it into the
Wow.
I mean, you could fill, you could have, I could have made a kind of grid with wool or something. You could have filled the whole space with materials, but I wanted to keep the individual sections.
But Christiane, these we talk about negative space and other things. So that is helping your design.
Yeah, that's also the other way of looking at it. So this one has come undone. Sometimes things happen. There you go. Okay. So
And the green color against the orange is looking beautiful and stunning.
and do you recognize the colors?
And Pooja, the orange is not a very striking orange. You see,
Yeah.
it's like that very striking guerua. It's a very soft orange. A
It's
little
like
bit
a
on
saffron.
No,
Saffron.
I think it would be a mixture of a little bit tending towards the peach family.
Okay. Wow.
Look at this.
Just one of your big shoulder flowers. When I looked at it, I thought, I know the orange is not quite deep enough for the Indian flag, but it's very close to it. And
Yes, thank you so much.
And it has got white. This is not pure white, but in flower arranging, we are in any art, we have a poetic license. So this was my thoughts for my friends in India, and particularly, with you going through a particularly bad time. And so this is also for Mother India, hopefully repairing very soon, and all of us getting well again and being better. So this is for all of you.
Thank you. Salute to you, ma'am, for bringing the Indian flag so beautifully, the color of the Indian flag so beautifully.
And Christiane, I don't know whether you meant it, but in the center of the flag, we have a wheel also. So you have brought out the wheel also of the flag, besides the colors.
Initially, I was actually going to add something else.
Okay, good.
But it was turning a little bit too difficult. I made this. They are the spines of the coconut, and I was going to bring them to each sections like a ray of sun, and then I thought it could also be the spike of your spinning wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it reminded me on your Indian flag you have got it started off with a spinning wheel on the inside.
It's actually it's not the spinning wheel, it is the Ashoka Chakra, giving with 24 spokes, giving the 24 messages to the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite like a spinning wheel, because in the original concept of the flag, it definitely looks like a spinning wheel.
That was before this flag was made, that they had the spinning wheel in the middle, and then that spinning wheel was replaced by this wheel. Yeah.
Well, you see, thank you very much. I like learning. Thank you for.
We are the ones who are learning, Christiane, at every step of how to use things which we have, and we've never used it like this.
So your string of shola flower, the round shola balls, everything is coming up to a wow factor for all of us.
Totally, Pooja. And even these normal shola flowers, I think, how well with the sisal background and things, it's just adding value addition to something which we don't actually think twice about, I would say.
No, yes. Sorry. Yes. So my last piece is for the Singapore Flower Club.
Oh, how nice.
As it's been our 50th anniversary, and you were supposed to, you want to do something for us. I thought I should finish it off for the Singapore Flower Club and our celebrations. But it's also, India is still coming in with it. I have given, sorry, I have, when I the last time or the time before last when I was with you, we were doing a demonstration.
Yeah. It was actually, remember when you did this thing, you taught us so many things with bangles and with wires and all kinds of structures you taught us to make.
Yeah. Yeah, all different techniques. I've done different hand ties for a long time, but there's always something new that you can learn. And recently we had a workshop. It was actually the last Flower Club workshop we could have in person at the Nobleman School. I know you all know Anson from him coming to Calcutta 2 years ago.
Yes.
Anson is always full of wonderful ideas. And he did a Mother Day bouquet for us and made a frame with it. And he showed us how you can do a spiral technique in a much simpler way than I ever knew. So I'm using his thoughts, but in a different way, because I wanted to do something with gold. So I have made this gold frame. I was using three rounds of fairly strong aluminium wires to do the outside, and then a smaller version on the inside. And you know how to do a round if you need to do it yourself. I know you can buy already finished made things, but I think most of us are doing it from scratch. So, and then I made a grid, a full grid between the two frames, and I made a further grid. That probably doesn't show that. A further grid in between the frame. And then I wanted, and that's where Anson came in. If it's the grid in between, but also making the handles. Now I have made handles before, but this one was different because he used a long piece of wire, and he used about a third for the bottom part and 2/3 for the top part. So for the top part, I rolled them all up in order to be out of the way. But whenever I use a long piece of wire, I always make the end pieces secure. Because if you have a long piece of wire and you fiddle around, you could easily stick that end into your eye. So if it is unprotected, it would be really terrible. If it has got something round at the end, it will be much easier. Now, recycling, where does the recycling come in? The recycling comes in with these little flowers, which those of you who were at the seminar might remember my costume at the time for our fashion show. And I took them off from there and used them on here. I think at the time when we did the stretching course, I was doing a demonstration and I used one of the designs where it used that sort of flower. Kavita, is Valerie there?
No, she isn't there yet, no.
Because I was going to post a question. When you do this sort of what looks like a flower, would that be allowed in competitive work?
I think that you'll have to ask her separately.
We'll have to, yes. Yeah, I thought you might know the answer as well.
No. Actually, these rules and regulations also are keeping on changing, Christiane. So by the time you come to the next competition, it's best to ask the host country or the thing. I mean, I'm not talking about the virtual competitions. They are a little different. But it's better to ask the person concerned about what and how.
It has changed with what you can and cannot do when it comes to competitive work. Now, I've used a thinner wire to go around my wrist, and you just have a semi-round, and
just 1 minute.
Right. So if I show it there, what you do next Can you keep that camera on?
Yeah, the camera is on.
Right. So you have the two ends out and you twist this a couple of times, trying to make it relatively even on both sides. I didn't do this too well. Okay, so you have like a figure 8.
Beautiful.
Okay.
That's so easy.
And then you take the individual
Petals out.
and you make your little flower.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Pooja, this is so easy.
I swear. And we struggle so hard to make that shape.
I know, and this is kind of just, it's done in a minute. And with a person like Bhavani, she'll do it in half a minute.
But there is, I mean, I'm not doing it very well at the moment, but there are lots of different ways you can do it too. You can have it flat. In this case, it's flat, but you could also bend them up.
Yeah.
And the more loops you have, of course, the fuller your flower will be. But for basic design, 10 petals would be good enough.
Okay.
And then you take your two ends down and then you attach it with it.
Oh, wow.
This is so pretty. And it's so doable. The best is that, and Christiane,
Yeah.
thinking like you can make them into little bases for tea lights also.
So, that's a lot of things. When I first learned it with one of our floral designers here, we had a exhibition at the National Museum, and it had to do with music, and I made a trumpet out of it.
Wow.
Unfortunately, somebody bought that trumpet and he never gave it back to me.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, even we'll do the same thing, ma'am. If you do something so beautiful, we are not going to give it back to you.
Yes. Yeah,
and it creates a beautiful mesh at the same time.
So they're really, I mean, if you look at my dress at the seminar,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have the body armor on. There. So now you have got your handles for your hand tight, and you have got it very loose between your thumb and your index finger. When you do it in reverse, it's very difficult. So you hold it very loosely and you start with your roses. And being the golden anniversary, I have used yellow roses. So when it comes to it, you just drop them in. And then you turn your stem. So you can start anywhere, and you just bend your stem into the right direction. You just have to make sure that you always go into the right direction. And at the end of the time, your wire will be more or less in the middle. You are certainly very quiet there. When you do a hand tie, you always have to make sure that all the leaves that come below your binding point have to be cleaned off. I was very lucky with the roses that I got yesterday. Sometimes some roses, especially Chinese roses, are very, very thorny. And these just had a few large thorns, so I was very pleased.
Beautiful yellow color.
Hmm?
It's a beautiful yellow color rose. So bright like sunshine.
They are starting to open up quite nicely. And sometimes when you get roses, the stems are very weak and they don't go in the right direction. this one has actually come out quite strong. I know you do have some lovely roses in India as well, so
Yeah.
you can get them. So you can see I just got in and I turned the
Yeah.
in the right direction.
So it's just that, Christiane, that how you've made using one color and emphasizing it, and you've created that impact with the golden ring all around. You see, that's the whole thing. So it's creating a kind of a halo also.
Yeah, I know at the moment color is really very fashionable.
Yes.
But there are occasions when I like monochromatic things. And of course, for golden anniversary, I think you
Yeah.
don't have much. So I have got all the roses. Usually when I do roses, I take off most of the leaves, but I just left the very top ones there.
Otherwise, you would, supposing you're using flowers which don't have leaves, then you add some little foliage, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, like with most handhelds, you can do a lot of
Yeah, you have a lot of options.
things. Yes.
Yes, but I love this idea of yours of first making this beautiful ring or the armature and then putting the flowers in the middle. It's so simple, and yet it's something which is, again, you once you've made the structure, you can use it again and again.
Yeah. So when you are done, you can pull some of them up. You more or less create a little dome effect. And so this is looking back. This is looking back to the 50 years and to say thank you for all the people who came before us and created the Flower Club in the first place and have done all the work to make it survive and celebrating 50 years. And then I add some green because the color green is the new growth, and this is for the future.
That's such a lovely thought, Christiane.
So this is Peter Sparrow,
Yes.
Peter Sparrow, which is very. I used to grow it in my own garden in England. So this is also for the fact that the Singapore Flower Club was started by British people.
Yeah.
And
Singapore was under the British, isn't it? Or it was a British colony or something.
it was, yes, but it was no longer a colony when the Flower Club was started. But you cannot go away from history, as you know, from your own history.
No, you can't. And why should you? I mean, come on. We've learned a lot from everybody who's been there before us.
To make the best of it. And
Yes,
Singapore
absolutely.
is very good with that. You know, we actually celebrated the 200th anniversary of Raffles landing because Singapore recognized that yes, it's part of the history, and you might not like colonialism, but it had bad things, but it also brought good things.
I think everybody has left their mark on the country. And I mean, we know in India, we've had so many different kinds of people come, settle, live. So our culture has become like a mixed bag of so many cultures.
And of course, Singapore has got so much connection with Kolkata.
Yeah.
Colonialism.
Yes.
It was the East India Company.
Totally, yes.
That started colonial Singapore. Singapore existed long before Raffles came here, but it more or less went obsolescent. And Raffles, because he wanted to have a bigger slice of the region, after they had to give up the things that they looked after for the Dutch, that he decided to have a look at Singapore, as it was known, and wanted to do a settlement here. And the rest is history. So there is the past and the future, and of course also the present. So I'm also adding some ruscus leaves. They're also green, but they are my present. And I'm very, very happy to have Angela here and Sumi, two of the best helpers of the Singapore Flower Club, without whom I could not have existed in the last few months in particular. And Angela has learned how to use Zoom. So whenever we have something, she's always willing, even when it's just for me. In Sumi has actually moved 2 blocks, 2 condos away, so she could be nearer to me. So she didn't have to.
That's so interesting.
No, I really feel so blessed, and I keep telling people that they should take up flower arranging, because I have had so much enjoyment out of it, and so many.
It is a very satisfying hobby, Christiane, and it connects you to such lovely people also. And in these, even in these lockdown days, thanks to Zoom and thanks to all kinds of YouTubes and all, we've had a kind of a bonanza of lessons, you can say, or demos, or whatever you want to call it.
And it's the friendships gained through flowers.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not to be underestimated. That's what I keep telling people. That's
Totally.
the most important thing. And I actually remember you, first of all, in Japan at a seminar in 2002.
It seems like, oh, eternity, Christiane.
We probably met before at Chelsea, because I started Chelsea for the Hong Kong Flower Club in 1996. And I know I've met you at Chelsea before, but I couldn't tell you which year that was. Anyway, so, something I forgot. I haven't got anything to wrap around. Normally you would bind it here. When you do normal hand ties, you would also bring some flowers underneath. I got something. So you could also have had something underneath. But as I have this lovely golden frame, I don't want to hide it. I will cut the length of the flowers to fit on my vase. And I will actually cut it a little bit lopsided so that it shows for you.
That's so lovely.
So you would take your vase, see how long, what you need to take off, and cut it. And in this case, my golden handles are a little bit longer. So as they are metal, you can just bend them back. I like them a little bit longer than I actually need them, because it is easier for you to hold them. And normally you would tie them. I just put it in for you.
That's so pretty, Christiane. That's so beautiful.
So,
And it's such a lovely tribute to the Singapore Club. And we join you from India and wish you many, many more happy years together. And we would love to do a joint event when, God willing, things are open. And maybe a group of us would come there, or we invite a group of you to come here, or both ways, or whatever. We never know what we can come to do. Yeah.
And we do remember your lovely demonstrations that you did together with Matvi. And we also remember Pretty's demonstration when you came. And we do look forward to your Zoom demonstration until you can come in person.
Yes, we've started working on it, and hopefully we will do it either in July or in August latest. Yeah.
And you can see what I'm doing now that
it's adding that little connection with the base also. You're connecting the base to the top so that it doesn't look as if it's 2 different sections.
I'm just taking out what I rolled up,
Yeah.
the wire, and then you can play with that and bring it over. What I should have done was actually, I should have something with 50 on it.
Not necessarily. You've got the gold to symbolize it, and the lovely golden yellow roses also. And thank you, Angela. And what is the other helper? What's her name? Christiane? Sumi. Okay. Oh, Sumi. I see. I didn't get. Thank you so much for being there. And we would like you also to come with Christiane when she comes next. That would be an excellent idea. Then we can have a lovely event together.
Yeah.
And we have a very, very dear friend, Christiane, from Bangkok. You know whom I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more nervous when he told me that he might be there.
Yeah, no, and I would request him, request you, Po, to give a vote of thanks on behalf of all of us. Please, please unmute yourself and come on the screen.
I'll do the needful thing, Auntie.
Yeah, please. I've told him he will come. There he is. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Sawadee krap. How are you?
Oh, we are missing you.
Thank you for the honor. Actually, I told Christiane that I will be here, but I didn't tell Kavita Auntie that I will be here. So you have the spy on me.
No.
But Christiane, what I would like to say today, it's really an honor for all of us to witness your creations. And thank you for your sharing. The two words that I really like to point out, especially to the young generation and the new generation of the floral arranger, you can see, number one, Christiane, the workmanship. Regardless of the big or small arrangement, what kind of design she wants to do, but the workmanship, you cannot pinpoint the mistake, you cannot find the unfinished point at all. That is my bow and wow to you. Number two, that I would like to say, also with the respect of nature that you have within you. You can see, everyone can witness the amount of flower she plant is the amount of flower she use. She doesn't waste it at all. She doesn't cut unnecessary stem. She doesn't throw them away, and she respect the nature with love and passion. So Christiane, another wow and wow to you. So it's my honor to be here with all of you, and on behalf of everyone, especially Puchpapitan, Singapore, Thailand, and all over the world, I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It's really a pleasure watching you working, as well as sharing your theory and knowledge to all of us. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your kind words and the way you analyzed everything, Po. Only you, as a master, can analyze it so beautifully. So, and now we are also waiting for you to come and be with us again. And if there are anybody who wants to say something or anything, you can unmute yourself, and please be free to talk to whatever you would like. I mean, I would say that it's.
Auntie, I would like to thank Christiane. It was a lovely demo. Just went back to the memories, good old memories, learning from Christiane. It was just too lovely.
Absolutely.
And learning all the techniques and everything, it like just refreshes the memory. Thank you so much, Christiane, and you're looking so
Nowadays,
good.
it's all about online. And today, some of our friends having
Christiane, we love you. We miss you.
China, so I represent Thailand, she represents
So
Singapore.
thank you, Bhavani Di. Thank you, Vinita Di.
And they asked me to say.
I hope there is no further question. There is in the chat box, because the way Christiane ma'am has explained each and everything meticulously and with so much of precision, I think we are all no words to be described. And we thank Christiane ma'am and all her assistants that in this pandemic situation also you've taken out so much of time and taught us such beautiful designs. And the most important is how you connected our Calcutta flowers There's Shola material in your beautiful designs, which we really don't think we can use it in so beautifully the way you taught us today. So all salute to you, Christiane ma'am, and of course the flag of the India, which gives us a pride and an honor that how you beautifully depicted the colors of it, and of course the symbol, the Ashok Chakra. Thank you so much. And I would also thank Kavita auntie for teaching us and making us to come into this platform where we all learn from each other. And of course, we always have great designers like Pooh, Christiane ma'am, and of course, Kavita auntie to herself. Thank you so much.
It's an honor, and I'm so lucky that we all are together. And please stay connected. We have lots of lovely programs lined up. We just had our committee meeting yesterday.
That's special for you, sir. Look at that. We put all for you. Oh, thank you so much. All the lilies.
So that's what I was just saying. And we look forward to more programs done together with all our friends from everywhere. And thank you so much. Thank you, Christiane. And we're looking forward to having your pictures. And thank you so much for doing it for us. Thank you.
And I would like to thank all of you too, and particularly you, Kavita. You've done so much for me over the past few years. I nearly gave up flower arrangement a few years ago until you invited me to Kolkata. I did that.
No, thank you.
You actually thought more of what I can do than I think of what I can do myself. You're pushing me beyond my boundary like you did with this. Thank you so much. And I look forward to the time when we can travel again and I will be able to come to you and you can come to Singapore.
Definitely. Definitely. And on the way, we'll pick up Pooh. You see, he's midway between India and Singapore.
Hello to Pooh. Pooh, hello.
Last time in Kolkata, Pooh was there. We had dinner together.
Yes, I remember. You remember what fun we had, and the dinner continued till so late.
Please, auntie, please don't start. It's not going to be end. The laughs, we can laugh till midnight.
Yeah, I tell you what fun.
And of course, Pooh also pushed me to my limits when we had the Flower Council in Thailand. So thank you all very much for having trust in me. And thank you also to Pucha for doing all the work behind the scenes. And definitely thank you also to Angela and Sumi for helping me here. Thank you so
All
much.
thanks to you, ma'am. You've learned so much.
Yeah,
and everything should come to an, we are really sad, not sad, we are learning. And of course, we are missing. Everything is coming to an end. The beautiful evening and afternoon we had together with all of you.
Thank you.
So I will be sharing the recording in the Facebook of ours. Please check and update whenever required.
Okay. Look forward to it. Thank you, Pucha.
Thank you, ma'am. All honors. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 So can we have, Christiane, can we have Angela and Cecily with you so that you can introduce them also?
They are making themselves beautiful.
They are always beautiful. Thank you so much, Angela. Thank you so much, Cecily, for helping us and making this event such a great. And we cannot thank you enough for all this. And we look forward to see you all in Calcutta. Because since we all are from Calcutta. And of course, we will be coming soon to Singapore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And be good. Bye.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.